mga ka-BA? It's me, Christy J. Layo-Layo, your pretty cutie BA. So for today's video, we were going to talk about 5 facts about Jose Rizal. First is his biographical sketches. Second, his pragmatic education. Third, his trouble, frustration, and disappointments. Fourth, an exiled life. And last is Jose Rizal's justice and death. So are you ready? Let's go!
Lahat tayo sa panahon ngayon ay sinakop na ng di kaya-ayang bagay. Pagmamahal sa sariling bansa ay hindi na isinasabuhay. Kaya't ating balikan ngayon ang panahong tayo ipinaglaban ng isang taong kahit sino may hindi yun masusuklian.
First is the biographical sketches of Jose P. Rizal. In life, there are always hard times and good times, as Jose Rizal's background in his childhood until he reaches the Society of Learning. Jose Rizal's astrological character is an ox and Gemini person who is a kind, caring soul, logical, and positive. He is very an achiever person and a hardworking one. The person who taught Jose Rizal how to read, pray, and write poetry was first and foremost his mother. Before being assigned to a private school in Binyan, the young Rizal received later private tutoring in Spanish and Latin. In those days, Jose's actual last name is Mercado. It was a popular one that the Spanish were after. So, to safeguard his identity, he adopted a different last name. In my stand, if I were Rizal at that time, I fully understand the way he does about his situation in changing his last name because it is for my good and safety as my parents are concerned for me. The most important is the security of his life and avoiding situations that might get him in danger. It is significant to appreciate and know the biographical sketches of Jose P. Rizal. We honor the national hero for dedicating his life and labor to developing the character of the Filipinos people and to learn about Rizal's life, labor, and writings to find a motivating source of patriotism. Next is Rizal's pragmatic education. Rizal pursued his dreams to help his family and pay back all the hardships and sacrifices that they lent to Rizal's studies. Even if Rizal has limited allowances, he continues to follow his goal for him to achieve everything he wants. Education is essential for Rizal because education is the cornerstone of society and a prerequisite for social progress. Jose Rizal argued that education alone could preserve the nation from foreign rule. You cannot undervalue the value of education in your life. We may achieve our goals to the fullest extent with the blessing of knowledge. According to Rizal, the purpose of education is to advance the nation and cultivate the minds of its citizens. Rizal said that education is the only way to free the nation from dominance because it is the cornerstone of civilization and a requirement for social advancement. So now, the trouble, frustration, and disappointment of Rizal. Rizal has been disappointed with the information he got because he knew to himself that he's nothing wrong with his doings and that he just did what he wanted with the love of his country. But there are a lot of people still paying attention and finding his imperfections in using evidence to make Rizal down. Everyone is aware of his misfortunes in studying as well as serving his country. And still, Rizal arranged the mess and talked with the said and belonging person on his case. Rizal used to be strong and work hard as he is. He lived in the Philippines again for 6 months, but he always received death threats to him. So, he lived for a second time. He is being pressured to leave because he desperately wants to stay at his home, but for a reason, he needs to take off again. Rizal was being painful. There is always mad at him and can't accept the fact who is Rizal. He travels with disappointment in his heart and is suggested to the world of perfectionists. I can affirm that Rizal is a kind, sympathetic, and benevolent person. Through the publication of the well-liked works No Limitangere and El Filibusterismo, he has addressed societal issues. He represents social justice and equality, which is something we should all strive to do. An exiled life of Rizal. From 1892 until 1896, Rizal lived in exile in distant Dapitan, a small town in Mindanao that was under the Jesuits' missionary control. As a result of his exile in Dapitan, Rizal had a great deal of freedom and the opportunity to live as a model citizen and better serve the Dapitan people. He was eventually brought back to Manila for his trial and eventually execution that year. It is hardly surprising that Rizal was greatly loved by the residents of Dapitan when he left. The people of Dapitan were helped and motivated by our hero. Rizal teaches us that despite challenges, we can still make positive impacts no matter who or what we are. We shouldn't be afraid since we can all contribute. Jose Rizal is a man of a great achievement. I found it amazing that Rizal managed to accomplish so much while living in exile and didn't object to being transported to Dapitan to live like a prisoner. Jose Rizal remained to serve his country while many others would panic, despair, or abandon hope for any achievement in their life as a result of being banished. This is what set Jose Rizal apart from the others and made him a national hero. Because Jose Rizal was a man who took real action. Lastly is Jose Rizal's justice and death. The trial of Rizal is the most well-known event in Philippine history, not because Rizal is our national hero, but because it explains why he perished. At the end of his life, he continued to fight for freedom, and he did so until his last breath. He died because he protected all Filipinos, not because he was protecting himself or his family. This Rizal trial has been declared a mistrial because, as I said, he died to protect us. It was a big joke from the beginning, and it was so awfully rubbish that it makes me want to throw up. I am so outraged by the brutality that I can compare those. These Spaniards get on my nerves because if they hadn't killed Rizal, I believe he would have been able to free our nation with his own two hands. He would still have written many poems that still inspire us today. Instead, Rizal died for nothing, and I can only compare those Spanish authorities at that time to wild animals driven by evil. They were way too much, and hate is not enough to describe in words how I feel about them. And that's all about 5 facts of Jose Rizal. I hope you learned something from me and see you in my next vlog. Bye-bye!